They was thinking field goal. They was thinking that Tampa Bay wanted to try to get a field goal, but Tom, being the GOAT, and this is the reason he's the GOAT and the greatest of all time, he recognized the man coverage. He recognized what they was trying to do. And he snuck one in. It was like throwing a Hail Mary, but it was throwing a Hail Mary within a concept. And the concept was Scotty Miller one-on-one with King. He recognized it, and they beat him. And I think that put him in maybe a 10 or 12-point deficit at the time. But it was tough to overcome. When you get down in a championship game like that, it's hard to make up points. It's hard to make up ground. And this is the best of the best, two of the best teams in the NFC. So when you have a play like that, that's deflating, it's hard to come back from. Now you got to come back and score 14 points in a game like this just to get back into the game. And Aaron Rodgers, they wasn't built for it yesterday. Tampa Bay Bucks defense played great, and that was the story of yesterday's game. So if I pinpoint any moment in that game that was the turning point or the breaking point for Green Bay and the turning point for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it was that play, and all the defense had to do was hold on from there.
Well, that was a big play. And my thing is, even though you're thinking about getting a field goal, why would you play single high safety? Even if you are worried about a field goal, why would you play single high? Why would you play man coverage? Why not just play cover two? Why not just play?
Don't you think that?
Yeah, why not play?
They're thinking he's going to throw an 8-yard out so they can have a last second field goal.
That's why you play cover two in sync. Therefore, you make them because the only way to get it in behind you, what are they gonna have to run? They're gonna have to run a shake route or a circus route, right? Well, you really concede the flat.
That's their fault.
Huh? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So I blame Mike Pettin. You would never call a single high safety in a situation like that, knowing that. But that's neither here nor there. I believe the reason why they won the game, Mike, is that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense was outstanding when they needed to be outstanding. The difference is you look at what they did with the 2 turnovers that they got. Tampa forced Green Bay to 2 turnovers. Their offense gives them 14 points. Green Bay's defense forced Tampa into 3 turnovers. They get 6 points. Now, Skip, Devontae Adams dropped a touchdown with back shoulder. I called it. I was like, in this defense right here, throw the back shoulder. Aaron throws the back shoulder. Tay doesn't get his head around quite quick enough. He drops it. They end up having to settle for a field goal. But when I underestimated, Mike, the pressure that JPP and Shaq Barrett could get. I think what I did is that I overvalued the great job that they did against the Rams. But realizing the Rams is not an edge rush team. They're interior rush team led by Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald was not Aaron Donald that we're used to seeing throughout the entirety of the season. So if I had to point to anything, it's the defense. They bowled their backs when they needed to. 4 times inside the 10-yard line, and you don't get a tub? You got to. If he cashes one of those turnovers, Mike, I believe we're having a different story this morning. Give Todd Bowles, give that defense credit because they showed themselves when they absolutely had to.
I agree.
My turn. I'm going to say this one more time on this show. It boils down to there's just one man in sports I don't bet against when the money gets pushed to the middle of the table, when the stakes are highest. That game boiled down, to me, to one team. The visiting team had the GOAT, and the home team had the guy I call the phony GOAT, the guy Shannon Sharpe tries to tell me is better than Tom Brady. And that phony GOAT, to me, in the fourth quarter got exposed because he came up small on the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. And I agree with what Michael said, that the shock play of the game, the one that hit Green Bay right between the eyes, if not right in the heart, was the play of Scotty Miller at the end of the half. And I've been trying to warn Shannon Sharpe about Scotty Miller since the offseason. He can flat out fly. I'm not saying he's Michael Vick, but for a little white guy, he can flat out fly. And maybe it is white guy syndrome where Kevin King said, he's a white guy. And maybe on tape, he doesn't look like he's that fast. He can fly.
No, he look like he's running.
He's 4'3".
He look like, Mike, you can look at him, he's digging. When he comes out, he's digging.
Okay, and some little white guys can't snag it after they're running 4'3" 40s down the field, but he can catch it.
Yes.
He's a gutty little catcher. He will go for the football and come up with it, and Brady trusts him in situations like that. And I agree, Brady bamboozled them at the end of the half, and that set the tone. That ended a first half that I have called Tom Brady's greatest first half of his playoff life. He set the tone for his football team by throwing for 202 in the first half that we're not backing down to these guys. In fact, we're going to punch them right in the mouth, and we're going to see if Aaron can get back up off the mat and stand up to us, to our defense in the fourth quarter, and he could not. Obviously, protection was it yesterday, and the Packers could not protect Aaron Rodgers. That four-man rush without much blitz. I didn't see a lot of blitz. I don't have a coach's tape, but I didn't see a whole lot. I think they just said, we can get there with four. And Shaq Barrett, who led this league in sacks last year, he hasn't had that great a regular season this year, but JPP came back to life yesterday, and those two off the edges, they're forces, man. And Aaron is starting to flinch a little bit, and I don't blame him because they are coming from both sides, and it's like an avalanche of 6'5" humanity on him play after play, and he goes down 5 times, the most he's been sacked all year. Tom Brady's line has gelled and clicked and come together like Fort Knox around him. He just went down one time yesterday, and what's happened over the last 7 games? They won 7 in a row since the Kansas City game at Tampa Bay. 7 in a row. What are they doing? They're protecting him like crazy. What do you always say? If you give that man time, yeah, he'll figure you out. And he got them in the first half. And then early in the third quarter, what happens? They get the turnover because they've been a turnover machine. That's what happens when these teams get on a Super Bowl roll. And they get one. And unfortunately, the safety who caused it was soon hurt and gone. But they get the turnover, and it gets to ominously 1st and goal at the 8-yard line, which became the play of the game for Green Bay going the other way late in the game. But what happens on 1st and goal at the 8? Brady just goes under center play action to Cameron Brate for a wide open touchdown.
And I don't know what Amos is looking at. That's
I don't either. I don't either.
He has a tight end, Mike, and the guy's coming right to you. What you looking at?
Okay, so that makes it 28-10 because he cashed. He went 2 for 2 in the red zone, and Aaron ends up going 2 for 4. That's the football game. So then we flip it around, and it's 1st and goal at the 8, late in the game. You got to cash one of them. You just got to cash one. It's 1st down. I don't know what, if we could see him in a row real quick. It's 1st down. I don't know what this is. He just zings it, and
Mike, it looked like to me they were going to run the screen. They're going to run the.
This was the. Look, it was a play. I think this is the play right here.
Yeah, with the run play.
Aaron could have ran.
Yep.
Aaron could have ran.
Yes.
Could have changed the dynamic.
It would have.
You know.
Again, Mike,
yeah,
I don't know if he could have scored, but even if he gets to the 2 or the 1, what's going to happen? They're going to go for it.
Skip, if he can't score, if he can't score from here, he needs to retire.
Well, I don't know.
Got to trust his instincts.
Yeah.
You know, but look, when I look at this game too, and I think you guys talked about it, after the 2 turnovers from Brady, I'm thinking that was Rodgers' opportunity right there to lead the charge. That was his moment. And the game was defined in those 2 drives, and they couldn't finish. And like you said, hats off to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Aaron Rodgers, he'll sit back and he'll watch this game over and over again. He'll contemplate what happened, and and he'll be extremely upset because he had an opportunity to win that game and put the team in a position to win.
Because think about it, Skip. They had scored touchdowns. Remember, Aaron came to the side and said, you got to get a stop.
He did.
They got a stop. And he goes 3 and out twice. That's the difference. And that's what I'm saying. I believe Rodgers played well, but he didn't play great in the big moments when he really needed to be Aaron Rodgers, the MVP this year. He didn't have that. He didn't play then.
He had to go to the other side. I mean, what can you do?
Hold on. I'm talking about him. Hold on. What does Tom Brady being on the sideline have to do with Aaron Rodgers going against the defense?
At the end of the half, showed Tom Brady's prowess and why he's he's the greatest quarterback to ever line up behind the center.
Mike, you come with single with 8 seconds on the clock. Why would you ever play single high safety? Second of all, Aaron Rodgers had just scored 2 touchdowns back-to-back. They give him back-to-back turnovers. What does Brady have to do with that?
Ain't got nothing to do with Brady.
Hey, but you just brought it up to me. He playing the GOAT. What does it go? He on the sideline.
Yeah, well, listen, if you want to be the baby GOAT, in that moment, that was your op.
That's what you make it. That's my point. That's the only thing I'm saying is that in that moment there, that's when he has to be the MVP. And he came up small. 2 straight 3 and outs when you had just scored back-to-back touchdowns and the defense gave you back-to-back turnovers. If you want to be the man on the center stage, grab the mic and do your thing.
Shannon Sharp.
Yes.
How did Tampa even get to that moment at Lambeau against Aaron Rodgers? It's because they signed the GOAT in the offseason. It's as simple as that. And he prevailed, and he's back in the Super Bowl for a 10th time.
So let me ask you a question. If the defense had played like they played against New Orleans at home,
they're horrible. They're horrible much of the year. Okay, but I told you in December, he brought the whole team to a boil. He showed them how this is done. They go on the road against Washington, at New Orleans, at Lambeau.
Washington.
Super Bowl. The best thing that happened for Tampa Bay, the best thing that happened for Tampa Bay was them not resting their starters after they clinched the playoffs. They stayed in rhythm. They stayed high.
No.
And that's the reason they was able to go on the road and win 3 straight. They knew the road that was ahead. They knew it was going to be tough.
Mike, why would you rest your starters and lose and possibly be the 6th seed and have to go to Seattle as a play and be the 5th seed and go to Washington? Why would you rest them?
Some would.
No, they would not.
No, man,
hold on.
listen,
You would,
you gotta
hold
get
on.
help.
With a backup